According to the film 13th, the United States is home to 5% of the world's population, but 25% of the world's prisoners. Today, the United States has a prison population of 2.3 million, which is the highest rate of incarceration in the world. After the Civil War, African Americans were arrested en masse for petty crimes like vagrancy and loitering. This served as Americans' first prison build. This also helped to provide free labor to rebuild America's tattered economy after the Civil War. During the 1960s and 70s, Presidents Richard Nixon and Ronald Reagan initiated a war on crime, which then became a war on drugs. In doing so, things like mandatory sentences were put in place for things like crack and powder cocaine. Although sentences were much harsher for crack than powdered cocaine, since crack cocaine was found in more impoverished communities. The same amount of prison time for 1 ounce of crack cocaine equates to 100 ounces of powdered cocaine. Once these new policies took effect, suddenly huge chunks of black men were disappearing into prisons and away from their families.
It's caught on tape explaining the Southern strategy.
In other words, you start out, now y'all want to quote me. Yes. All right, I won't hear it. You start out in 1954 by saying nigger, nigger, nigger. By 1968, you can't say nigger. That hurts you, backfires. So you say stuff like forced busing, states' rights, and all that stuff. And you're getting so abstract now, you're talking about cutting taxes, and all of these things you're talking about are totally economic things, and the byproduct of them is blacks get hurt worse than white.
The film 13th also explains that in 1994, President Bill Clinton introduced a crime bill that increased funding to build more prisons, along with the militarization of the police, only leading to an uproar in the incarceration rate. As you can see in the graph shown above, these implemented policies by government have only caused a radical spike in the population within prisons. For example, the U.S. prison population in 1970 was 357,292 inmates, but in 2000 it was listed at 2,015,300 inmates. One of the main reasons for the high rates of mass incarceration is the fact that so much money is being made. One of the main benefactors of these profits is ALEC, or the American Legislative Exchange Council. ALEC, which has been around for more than 4 decades, consists of a private club that includes private businesses and politicians. Roughly 1 in 4 state legislators are members of ALEC, and nearly every ALEC bill benefits its corporate funders. One of the biggest companies that is supported by ALEC is the CCA, or Corrections Corporation of America. The CCA is basically a corporation that builds prisons for profit. The thing is that the CCA makes contracts with states, and in order to uphold these contracts, prisons have to stay filled even if no one is committing a crime. This was especially true for the late 80s and early 90s when the prison industry became a growing industry unlike any other. Through ALEC, the CCA became the leader in private prisons, a multi-billion-dollar business that gets rich off punishment.
There are thousands of people in jail that cannot afford to get out. The rich have it easier than the poor. 97% of the people locked up have a plea bargain. If you don't take a plea deal, then you will be punished more by the courts. In addition, the likelihood of black men going to jail is 1 in 3, and for white men, it's 1 in 17. Black men make up 6.7% of the U.S. population, but make up 40.2% of the prison population. Also, we now have more African Americans under criminal supervision than slaves in the 1850s. Some of the solutions to this social issue are to eliminate prison for lower-level crimes, reduce sentence minimums and maximums currently on the books, and reinvest savings into crime prevention policies such as school programs like DARE and programs that promote public safety. All in all, mass incarceration is a social issue that is impacting the entire United States, but mostly people of color. This has been due to discrimination over the past centuries and injustice in the judicial system that continues to exist. Families are being separated, which causes other social issues like poverty and high death rates in colored communities.
It is important to make people socially aware of this in order for the next man not to become a slave to the judicial and prison systems. Men's lives are worth more than the government's profit.